What's up everybody, it's Joel Gaming here. So we've had quite some The Last of Us Part 2 news very recently, and today is no exception. But the cool thing about this one is actually that you haven't really heard anybody talk about it. It kind of went under the radar because this comes out of a Argentinian radio show where Gustavo Santaolalla, who of course is the composer for The Last of Us Part 1 and also for the upcoming Part 2, was interviewed about the game and his thoughts on it and stuff. So because it was in Spanish, it went, like I said, kind of under the radar, and I had a viewer of mine pretty much tell me about this. That's how I found out about it, and because obviously I can't speak Spanish myself, I actually had it run by a couple of my viewers to make sure they could translate it for me and that I was completely sure on the context in which it was said and what exactly specifically was said by him about the game. So I want to give a real quick shout out to those people. You'll see them in the corner right now. Thanks for translating this for me and helping me out with it. But basically, like I said, Gustavo Santaolalla was interviewed at this Argentinian radio show about all of his projects and just everything that's going on for him. But at one point, of course, specifically, the interviewer brought up The Last of Us Part 2 and what he, thinks so far about that, or what he can share about it. And what he said there, especially about the release date, is definitely quite interesting. So let's actually read it quickly. So the interviewer pretty much asked him, "Have you finished The Last of Us yet, or when will you finish it?" And what Gustavo then responded, said, "It's going to be done in 2019. Then he laughs and he says, "No, I don't know exactly when it will come out, but a project like this usually takes at least 2 years to make. I've been working on it now for about a year, and after my last concert at the 28th of October, I'll be traveling to LA to keep working on the game." He then also says that 2019 will probably once again be the release date, repeating that it's just his thoughts, and that of course he doesn't really have any concrete info yet, but it's his estimate based on what he knows of the project so far and what he expects as far as, when he's going to be done with the music and everything, and the deadlines that he's been given himself. So, yeah, I don't think this is particularly, very newsworthy, because I think we've all kind of figured out that 2019 is probably very likely going to be the year in which it comes out. So I really look at this as confirmation for the fact that that is probably going to be happening, right? I mean, you still have some people speculating that it might be coming out next year, but I really think that looking at it right now, it's just very unlikely. And why am I saying that? Pretty much for two reasons. One is that Naughty Dog has only gone into full production for the game since the Lost Legacy finished, which was only a couple of months ago, and before that it was still in very early phases with a small team and stuff. And then the other point really is that I look at the release schedule for Sony exclusive games. I mean, next year in 2018, you've already got quite some major releases coming up. I mean, God of War, Detroit Become Human, hopefully, Spider-Man, Days Gone. Those are four pretty major, exclusive games that we've already seen gameplay of and that we know so much about already, that it's just it's very likely that those are coming out obviously next year, and then they've kind of got the entire year almost covered already, at least as far as covered already, at least as far as the beginning of the year goes, the early stages maybe in the summer and stuff. But as far as the fall goes, once again, it's not really the time where Sony is known for releasing games that much anymore. I mean, look at the past few years, 2015, 16, 17. The falls have always been somewhat, just like barren. There's not been that many exciting big releases, because Sony now likes to kind of leave the fall to the third-party companies, to the EAs and to the Activisions and stuff, for all the yearly games that we expect to come out every year. And then yeah, Sony just takes the I guess the more quiet times in the early part of the year, and in the middle, in the summer somewhere. That's where they like to now release all of their bigger games. And at the same time, I mean, once again, look at when The Last of Us Part 1 released. It was in about the summer. I think it was June of 2013, right? I think it's very likely that yeah, with Part 2 we'll see a very similar thing happen, where it's coming out around May or June 2019. Yeah, once again, with the fact that Naughty Dog has only really started fully working on it with their entire team for only a couple of months now, and with the fact that Sony doesn't really like releasing those games late in the year anymore, I just think that it's just like, it just seems so obvious that it's gonna be, yeah, you know, May, June 2019. So that's what I personally expect. I think, you know, once again, what Gustavo Santaolalla said here about the game only makes that, you know, strengthens my thoughts on that, that the release date will be around that time. But of course, it's still gonna be speculation. We'll probably find out a lot more at PlayStation Experience, or at least we'll get a trailer for it in 2 months from now. And if we don't get a release date there, then it's obvious it's not going to be next year. But I really don't think many people still expect it's going to be next year. But anyway, with that being said, once again, quick shout out to those people that helped me out with this. I appreciate it a lot. And then I hope you all enjoyed this video. Of course, let me know your own thoughts in the comments on when you think the game is coming out. And then for now, I'd like to thank you a lot for watching and hope to see you again next time.